Hey, what's up everyone? Today we're diving into some physics MCQs, so grab your notes and let's get started. Question 1. Which one of the following is a scalar quantity? Options: A. Force, B. Torque, C. Momentum, D. Density. Pause the video and guess the correct answer. The correct answer is D. Density. Explanation: density is a scalar quantity, meaning it only has magnitude and no direction. Force, torque, and momentum are vector quantities which have both magnitude and direction. Question 2. Which one of the following is a vector quantity? Options: A. Work, B. Power, C. Weight, D. Mass. Pause the video and take a guess. The correct answer is C. Weight. Explanation: weight is a vector because it has a direction pointing toward the center of the Earth due to gravity. The other options, work, power, and mass, are scalar quantities with only magnitude. Question 3. Which pair includes both a scalar and a vector quantity? Options: A. Kinetic energy and momentum, B. Potential energy and work, C. Weight and force, D. Velocity and acceleration. Pause the video to think this one through. The correct answer is A. Kinetic energy and momentum. Explanation: kinetic energy is a scalar quantity with only magnitude, while momentum is a vector having both magnitude and direction. Question 4. Two vectors, A1 and A2, make an angle of 90 degrees with each other. What is the magnitude of their resultant? Options: A. The sum of A1 squared and A2 squared, B. The square root of the sum of A1 squared and A2 squared, C. The square root of A1 squared plus A1 squared plus the product of A1 and A2, D. The square root of A1 squared plus A1 squared plus 1/2 the product of A1 and A2. Pause the video to figure out the answer. The correct answer is B. The square root of the sum of A1 squared and A2 squared. When two vectors are at a right angle, we use the Pythagorean theorem to calculate their resultant. Here we take the square root of the sum of the squares of both vectors. Question 5. The magnitudes of two vectors are 3 newtons and 4 newtons respectively. If the angle between them is a right angle, what is the magnitude of their resultant vector? Options: A. 5 newtons, B. 6 newtons, C. 7 newtons, D. 0. Pause the video and make a guess. The correct answer is A. 5 newtons. Explanation: since the vectors are at right angles, we apply the Pythagorean theorem. 3 squared plus 4 squared gives us 25, and the square root of 25 is 5 newtons. Question 6. At what angle is the vertical component of a vector at its maximum value? Options: A. 0 degrees, B. 30 degrees, C. 45 degrees, D. 90 degrees. Pause the video and think it over. The correct answer is D. 90 degrees. Explanation: the vertical component of a vector reaches its maximum when the vector is pointing straight up, which happens at 90 degrees. Question 7. In which quadrant can a vector be drawn if both its x and y components are negative? Options: A. First, B. Second, C. Third, D. Fourth. Pause here and take your best guess. The correct answer is C. Third. Explanation: in the third quadrant, both the x and y coordinates of a point are negative, which makes it the correct quadrant for a vector with both components negative. Question 8. What is the possible result of -3i hat dot -4j hat? Options: A. 0, B. 1, C. 12k hat, D. 12. Pause the video here and try to answer. The correct answer is A. 0. Explanation: since I hat and j hat are perpendicular to each other, therefore the dot product of -3i hat dot -4j hat can be expressed as there are. The correct answer will be 0. Question 9. What is the angle of the vector represented by 2i hat plus 2j hat? Options: A. 30 degrees, B. 45 degrees, C. 60 degrees, D. 90 degrees. Pause and think through this one. Correct answer is B. 45 degrees. Explanation: to find the direction of two vector in a same plane, you use tan inverse function, which is given as here x equals 2 and y equals 2, putting the value we get 45 degrees. Question 10. What is the correct result of j hat dotted with cross product of k hat cross j hat? Options: A. 0, B. 1, C. I hat, D. j hat. Pause and take your guess. The correct answer is A. 0. Explanation: in vector math, the cross product k hat cross j hat yields -i hat. Then -i hat dotted with j hat gives 0. Question 11. Which law does not obey the vector product of two vectors? Options: A. Associative, B. Commutative, C. Distributive, D. Identitive. Pause and take a guess here. correct answer is B, commutative. Explanation. The vector product or cross product of two vectors is not commutative, meaning A cross B is not the same as B cross A. This breaks the commutative property. Question 12. The scalar product of two non-zero vectors is equal to 0 when the angle between them is options A, 0 degrees, B, 30 degrees, C, 60 degrees, D, 90 degrees. Pause and think about this one. The correct answer is D, 90 degrees. Explanation. To prove this, we use the define of dot product. If the angle between two vectors is 90 degrees, then A dot B equals 0, hence scalar product or dot product of two vectors is 0 when the vectors are perpendicular. Question 13. The vector product of two vectors is maximum when both the vectors are options A parallel, B antiparallel, C perpendicular, D equal. Pause the video and take your best guess. The correct answer is C. Perfect. Explanation. The vector product of two vectors A and B can be expressed as, if the angle is 90 degrees then smore. The vector product of A and B will be max. Question 14. What is the expected result of the expression vector A cross vector B squared plus vector A dot vector B squared? Options A squared B squared cosine theta, B, A squared B squared sine theta, C, ABD, A squared B squared. Pause the video and give it a try. The correct answer is D, A squared B squared. Explanation. The cross and dot product of A and B vector can be written as, and simplifying and arranging the terms we get here, sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Therefore, we get A squared B squared. Question 15. The self-cross product of unit vectors is always options A1 B0 C linear, D nonlinear. Pause here and guess. The correct answer is B0. Explanation. When a vector is crossed with itself, the result is 0 because the sine of 0 degrees is 0. Question 16. The angle between two vectors, given that the magnitude of their dot product is 6 root 3, and magnitude of cross product is 6 respectively, the angle between the vectors is options A 90 degrees, B 60 degrees, C 30 degrees, D 0. Pause the video to think it over. The correct answer is C, 30 degrees. Explanation. Magnitude of dot product is as given as magnitude of cross product is given as. Now dividing the equation 2 by 1, we get, by simplifying tan theta, we can determine the angle, which is equal to 30 degrees. Question 17. What torque is produced by a 30 Newton force, acting at 60 degrees on a wrench of length 30 centimeters? Options A, 5.8 Newton meters, B, 6.8 Newton meters, C, 7.8 Newton meters, D, 8.8 Newton meters. Pause the video to make a guess. The correct answer is C, 7.8 Newton meters. Explanation. Magnitude of the torque is given by now putting the values we get 7.8 Newton meters. Question 18. A force of 10 newtons at 60 degrees acts on a block. What force in the opposite direction will bring the block to equilibrium? Options A, 5 newtons, B, 10 newtons, C, 15 newtons, D, 100 newtons. Pause here and take your best guess. The correct answer is A, 5 newtons. Explanation. For equilibrium, we need a component that cancels out the original force's vertical component. Therefore, x component is equal to putting the values and simplifying, we get 5 newton. Question 19. If the line of action of the force passes through the axis of rotation or origin, then its torque is options A, 0, B's maximum, 1, D, none of these. Pause and guess the correct answer. The correct answer is A, 0. Explanation. When a force acts along the axis of rotation, it has no perpendicular distance to the axis, resulting in 0 torque.